Welcome to the games that don't just challenge you, they insult you personally. Bosses hold grudges, platforms are designed by sadists, and enemies clearly hate your thumbs. You'll rage, cry, throw your controller across the room, and somehow keep playing. Here are the 25 hardest games that will make you cry. Let's kick things off with Sekiro. Shadows Die Twice. Sekiro isn't just hard, it's a sword-swinging slap to the ego. You're a shinobi, yes, but one with the durability of soggy toast. Every boss is like fighting a caffeine-charged blender that knows kung fu. And don't even get me started on the parrying. If your timing is off by 0.01 milliseconds, congratulations, you've just been flattened by an old lady with fireworks. This game doesn't have a difficulty slider, it is the difficulty slider. You'll spend 80% of your time dying, 15% yelling, and the remaining 5% crying over your controller. From giant roosters to immortal monks, Sekiro doesn't want you to win. It wants you to suffer artfully, like a frustrated samurai in therapy. And yet, when you finally beat a boss after 72 tries, you'll feel like you just achieved enlightenment, or at least avoided punching your TV. And next up, Cuphead. The game that looks like a Saturday morning cartoon and plays like hell on espresso. It's all rainbows, jazz, and smiling flowers, until those flowers start spitting homing seeds of death. The bosses? Literal chaos in 2D form. You'll dodge, dash, shoot, then explode into a puff of shame as a hot dog and a flying blimp laughs at your misery. The game demands frame-perfect precision, god-tier reflexes, and nerves forged in lava. You thought you'd enjoy a relaxing retro game? Wrong! You're trapped in a fever dream of relentless bullet hell ballet where everything wants you dead and even the background music is mocking your incompetence. It's like being mugged by a Disney character. But don't worry, once you beat that level, there's another one waiting to ruin your soul with charm. Now dropping in from the lands between, it's Elden Ring. You wake up half naked with a stick and good intentions. Then a tree kills you. Then a dog. Then a flying dragon with a name longer than your lifespan. Elden Ring doesn't believe in tutorials or kindness. It believes in watching you flail in high-definition despair. Every cave, swamp, and suspiciously empty room is just a fancy setup for an ambush by something with 47 arms and no chill. But hey, maybe you grind and finally level up? Doesn't matter. The next boss teleports behind you, shreds your armor, insults your fashion, and sends you back to the loading screen. Even the NPCs gaslight you. And yet, we come crawling back because nothing feels more satisfying than conquering a giant demigod with a tiny sword and a lot of trauma. Elden Ring, where dreams go to die gloriously. Crawling up the agony charts, getting over it with Bennett Foddy, it's just a dude in a pot with a hammer. Sounds simple, right? No. This game is psychological warfare disguised as physics-based fun. You spend hours climbing garbage mountains using a cursed mouse mechanic designed by demons. One wrong move and you fall all the way back to square one, again and again and again. Meanwhile, a man with the soothing voice of a yoga instructor gives you poetic quotes about failure, which only makes you want to throw your entire desk out the window. Rage quitting? This game feeds on it. It's not about winning, it's about how much failure your fragile soul can tolerate before you uninstall in slow-motion sadness. Honestly, it should be prescribed by therapists as a warning of what not to do if you value peace.
What? No.
Slicing its way in, Ghost Runner series. Imagine if Mirror's Edge and Cyberpunk had a baby, and then that baby stabbed you in the back while breakdancing. That's Ghost Runner. You are a ninja with superhuman reflexes and the durability of wet paper. One hit, you die. Blink, you die. Breathe weird, yep, you guessed it. You're dead again. Every level is a trial of parkour, blade ballet, and wall running while dodging lasers, bullets, and your own bad decisions. You respawn so fast it feels like the game is mocking your existence in real time. There is no easy mode, just humiliation delivered at the speed of light. You will scream, you will rage, and you will feel like a cybernetic clown with no coordination. But when you slice that final enemy midair while flipping over a death pit, you'll feel like an absolute techno god of chaos. For 3 seconds, then you die again.
Ghost Runner system will automatically respond to is...
Another Ghost Runner signal?
Correct. Takes a thief to catch a thief. Or something like that. Smart. Of course it is. Now, give me the access check.
Coming in claws first. The Lion King, 1994. This isn't a cute Disney game. This is a savage, jungle-themed torture simulator disguised as childhood nostalgia. The can't wait to be king level is a war crime. Monkeys fling you the wrong way, hippos mock your pain, and the platforming is so brutal it could break Mufasa's spirit again. The game gives 0 hints, 0 mercy, and exactly 1 button to scream internally with. Even adult Simba gets wrecked by enemies with the ferocity of tax collectors. You think Scar is the final boss? No, the real boss is the giraffe hitbox from level 2. This game has emotionally scarred an entire generation of 90s kids. And somehow, we kept playing. Because back then, you either Hakuna Mata'd your way through it, or rage snapped your SNES cartridge in half. Now punching you straight into your 60s, Sifu. Sifu isn't a fighting game, it's a life lesson wrapped in a knuckle sandwich. You start young and cocky, full of kung fu dreams. Then some dude with a broomstick hits you 14 times in 2 seconds and suddenly you're 53 with lower back pain. Every time you die, you age. And every time you age, you get stronger but also weaker. It's the game equivalent of your uncle bragging about youth but limping from his couch. By the time you reach the final boss, you've aged so much, you're applying for Social Security mid-combo. And don't expect to button mash. This game requires precision, timing, and zen-like patience, none of which you have after being kicked through 12 walls by a nightclub bouncer. But when you finally land that final hit, you'll feel younger than your character, briefly. Now resurrecting your nightmares, Ghosts and Goblins, this game right here is old school sadism with a charming medieval filter. You get 2 hits. First hit, your armor explodes. Second hit, you die. Wearing only polka dotted boxers like a knight who lost a bet. You jump like you're on the moon, the enemies spawn from hell portals, and even the checkpoints feel like betrayal. You beat the final boss, guess what? Surprise twist. You have to play the entire game again to get the real ending. It's not a challenge, it's a hostage situation with bonus frustration. Every inch of progress feels like you cheated death, taxes, and gravity all at once. And somehow, even after being chewed up and spit out by every pixel, you go back for more, because you're convinced one day you'll beat it clothed. Next up, say hello to Lies of P, Pinocchio's gritty revenge saga. You're a puppet, yes, but not the singing nose-growing type. No, this is Bloodborne with top hats, and every enemy is either a horrifying doll, a circus abomination, or something that looks like it eats kids for breakfast. The parry system demands god-tier reflexes, and if you miss time by a frame, a Victorian lawnmower stomps your face. The bosses? Massive, angry, fluent in the language of pain. They don't even pretend to give you a chance. The game constantly asks, do you lie? And the answer is yes. You lie to yourself that you're winning, when in fact you're being body slammed by a giant robotic clown wielding a chandelier. Lies of P turns every childhood memory into a beautiful gothic soul-scorching opera of defeat. Bravo. And then there's Hollow Knight, where cute bugs go to destroy your will. At first, you're like, oh, look at this charming hand-drawn world. 5 minutes later, you're sobbing into your keyboard after getting dunked on by a spider wearing a hat. Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania maze full of misery where the map doesn't work, fast travel is for the privileged, and death steals your lunch money. You'll fight bosses with names like Hornet, Soul Master, and the Absolute Radiance, which might as well be called Please Stop. The controls are tight, but the margin of error is tighter. Oh, and healing? You better stand still for 3 seconds, which is basically begging enemies to punch you mid-prayer. But hey, once you beat that final boss after 74 deaths and 3 existential crises, you'll feel like the king of bugs for about 10 seconds, until you find the DLC. Time to get gothic. Bloodborne. Bloodborne doesn't just throw you into the deep end, it fills the pool with acid, drops in werewolves, then politely informs you that dodging is your religion now. The vibe? Victorian horror meets everyone wants to eat you. The combat? Fast, aggressive, and built specifically to punish hesitation. Healing takes a second, which is just enough time for a zombie with 16 arms to perform interpretive murder, and don't even get me started on the bosses. Half of them look like someone's sleep paralysis demon fused with a Lovecraft monster and took ballet classes. You thought Dark Souls was hard? Bloodborne is Dark Souls after 5 cups of espresso and a lifelong grudge. But you'll keep coming back because underneath the suffering is, well, more suffering, but also style. So much gothic, blood-soaked, controller snapping style. Sliding into the meat grinder, Super Meat Boy. Imagine a cute meat cube with the agility of a gymnast and the luck of a cursed rabbit. Now throw him into levels made entirely of spinning saws, disappearing platforms, lava, salt, and death lasers. That's Super Meat Boy. You don't walk, you sprint. You don't think, you react, pray, die, then respawn instantly to try again 400 more times. The game is so fast, you could blink and miss 5 deaths. And the level design? Sadistic brilliance. Precision is key, but panic is your co-pilot. There's nothing more humbling than watching your replay. 80 meat versions of yourself getting diced like sushi before one glorious survivor barely limps across the finish line. It's the digital equivalent of parkour with your hair on fire while being chased by a chainsaw. And yes, it's amazing. Crawling out of a crypt near you, Dark Souls series, the trilogy that invented the phrase "get gud" and made it a life philosophy. Dark Souls doesn't give tutorials, it gives trauma. Every hallway has a trap, every chest might bite your face, every boss is a giant medieval trauma machine that will body slam you through your self-esteem. The world design? Gorgeous. Also confusing. You'll wander in circles for 2 hours only to realize you were supposed to die 6 times before opening that one door that leads to 14 more ways to die. You heal slowly, dodge clumsily, and block with the durability of cardboard until you learn the game's dance. Then suddenly, you're pirouetting through dragons and slaying gods like a haunted ballerina. But until then, you're just a medieval intern on a suicide mission with a rusty fork. Good luck. Reaching for the summit, Celeste, it's you, a mountain, and 1,000 ways to fall off of it. Celeste is beautiful, emotional, and will absolutely crush your reflexes into powdered tears. You play as Madeline, trying to conquer both a physical mountain and her inner demons, which sounds deep until you're flinging yourself into 900 spike traps while a strawberry floats nearby, mocking your self-worth. The controls are snappy, the levels are cruel, and the learning curve is shaped like Mount Everest. There's no combat, only precision platforming so sharp it'll slice your ego in half. You'll fail. A lot. But the game whispers encouragement like, you can do it, as you plunge to your doom for the 400th time. Eventually, when you do make it, you feel like you climbed the actual Himalayas, using only your face and shattered hope. Stylishly destroying your sanity, Devil May Cry, any of them. Look, you want to feel cool? DMC lets you juggle enemies midair with a motorcycle, shoot demon bats with dual pistols, and do backflips while taunting a lava god. Sounds amazing, until you realize you're on Dante Must Die mode, and the game now hates your entire bloodline. One wrong dodge and you're comboed into another dimension. You'll spend 20 minutes crafting the perfect SSS ranked combo only to be killed by a demon rat in the corner because you forgot to block. Style is everything, but so is survival. And DMC wants you to do both with one hand tied behind your back and sunglasses on. Every boss is a dance. A fast, lethal, heart-palpitating dance where one misstep ends in humiliation. But once you master it, you become a devil-slaying rock star, or at least a sweaty mess in your living room yelling, "Come on!" Next up, Nioh, the game that said, what if samurais had anxiety? If Dark Souls had a baby with a katana and an energy drink, it'd be Nioh. Every enemy, from skeleton peasants to lightning gods, can combo you into early retirement. The game has stances. Stances. High, mid, low. It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube while being attacked by ninja ghosts. You've got to manage stamina, weapons, magic, and oh yeah, demons with 12 eyeballs who can teleport behind you like anime villains. Just when you think you're doing great, a one-eyed pig demon one-shots you into next week. The loot system is complicated, the bosses are cruel, and your controller will start developing emotional trauma. But when you finally slay that flaming Tengu after 47 deaths and 1 blackout, you'll scream in victory until the next boss deletes you in 2 hits. Classic Nioh. Climbing to madness. Only up. One misstep, just one tiny misstep, and there goes your 45 minutes of careful, slow-motion climbing straight back to rock bottom, both physically and emotionally. Only up is the kind of game that gives you trust issues. Every jump could be your last. Every floating refrigerator is a potential life ruiner. There's no save system, no checkpoints, just you, your anxiety, and a terrifying vertical world built by someone who clearly hates peace. Your palms sweat, your breath catches, you make it up 300 meters, your knees shaking, and then a pipe nudges your foot and it's all over. Again, this game doesn't just challenge your reflexes, it interrogates your sanity. And yet, you go back. Because somewhere deep down, you believe you can reach the top right after you scream into a pillow. Unsheathing Pain, Ninja Gaiden. You think you're good at games? Ninja Gaiden is here to humble you. You could have 10 fingers, 4 brains, and reflexes of a caffeinated squirrel. It still won't matter. Everything in this game is a death machine with legs. The enemies have perfect aim, the bosses have 18 attacks per second, and the camera is constantly conspiring against you. Blocking, pointless. Dodging, not fast enough. Praying, useless. This is the kind of game where you accidentally blink and wake up in the game over screen wondering what just happened. And the best part? If you do manage to survive, you still get judged on your style. B rank? After all that? I just defeated a cyborg demon centaur using only 2 health potions and trauma. Ninja Gaiden doesn't reward skill, it rewards eternal suffering with a katana. Kicking in your last brain cell, I want to be the guy. This game isn't hard, it's psychologically weaponized insanity. Nothing is safe. Apples fall up. Clouds shoot bullets. Platforms lie to you. You can die from the title screen if you're not careful. It's like Mario if Bowser had a PhD in trolling. Every level is a trap masquerading as a level. You finally get through a gauntlet of death after 200 retreats. And bam! An invisible block kills you. The only way to win is to memorize every death like some twisted digital version of Groundhog Day. But instead of becoming a better person, you just become angrier. Even the checkpoints are traps. The boss fights? Imagine Mega Man if every boss was fueled by spite and sarcasm. You're not playing this game, you're auditioning to be a masochist. And if you beat it, we don't trust you. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance. This game is literally insane. You play as Raiden, a cyborg ninja who can parry a missile while screaming about memes and freedom. Sounds cool, right? Well, until the parry window is 0.01 seconds long and every enemy fights like they're auditioning for John Wick. 5. Cyber Apocalypse. You're dodging, slashing, jumping, listening to heavy metal drop just before getting punched in the liver by a giant mecha senator. The boss fights are pure chaos. Giant robots with emotional baggage, sword-wielding maniacs, and politicians with abs that could kill a man. You'll parry until your fingers go numb, die 18 times, then finally win, only to realize the real final boss is the camera. It spins, it flips, it zooms like it's doing interpretive dance while you cry in the corner. But hey, the soundtrack slaps, so at least you die in style. Mortal Shell feels like a Souls game that removed comfort, joy, and forgiveness from the settings menu. Healing items are so rare you start saving them like family heirlooms, stamina disappears after 2 swings, and every enemy hits like they're mad you showed up uninvited. The harden mechanic sounds amazing until you mistime it by half a second and get folded like medieval laundry. You spend most of the game walking around at critical health, whispering motivational speeches to yourself while enemies patiently wait to ruin your life. Progress is slow, heavy, and punishing, and when you finally defeat a boss, it's not excitement. It's relief mixed with disbelief that the game allowed you to continue. Wolong Fallen Dynasty is basically a Souls-like that decided blocking was for cowards and turned the entire game into a high-speed parry exam you did not study for. Every enemy attacks like they're late for something, bosses swing non-stop with delays designed specifically to bait your reflexes, and missing a deflect by 1 millisecond gets your health bar erased like it owed the game money. The morale system means enemies literally get stronger when you're doing bad, so the game sees you struggling and says, "Interesting, let's make this worse." Boss fights feel like kung fu movies on 2 times speed, except you're the extra who gets launched across the room every 5 seconds. Winning doesn't make you feel powerful, it makes you stare at your hands in disbelief, wondering how your fingers survive that many panic parries without filing a complaint. Blasphemous 1 and 2 are like horror-themed gymnastics with a side of existential dread. The game looks all gothic and artsy, but one wrong step sends you into spikes, pits, or some grotesque death animation that feels personally insulted by your existence. Bosses attack like they're auditioning for Cirque du Soleil while also holding grudges, and the platforming is so precise you start questioning if gravity is just trying to ruin your life. Healing is sparse, checkpoints are sadistic, and the game loves reminding you that suffering is part of your spiritual journey, mostly by kicking your pixelated teeth in. Every victory feels less like triumph and more like, I exist somehow in spite of this nightmare, which is really just a fancy way of saying, yes, this game will make you cry, and then make you say one more try immediately. Black Myth Wukong is basically Monkey King meets Nightmare Fuel. You start thinking, I got this, and 5 seconds later you're flying across the screen like a rag doll while some massive demon politely reminds you that your skill level is adorable. Combat is fast, brutal, and refuses to forgive even the tiniest mistake, and one missed parry and your health disappears like it never existed. Bosses are gigantic, unpredictable, and clearly fueled by personal grudges, while normal enemies will combo you into next week just for fun. The game looks gorgeous, but that just makes your inevitable deaths more insulting, and like, wow, I died here with that view? By the time you finally win a fight, you're not cheering, you're just lying on the floor whispering, please, no second phase. Hellpoint is like being trapped in a haunted space station with a physics degree you never asked for. Enemies teleport, mutate, and explode like the universe is personally offended by your existence, while gravity casually flips you off and makes every jump feel like an audition for death by clumsiness. Bosses are huge, weird, and somehow manage to attack in ways that make no sense. One moment you're swinging, the next you're in orbit, questioning your life choices. The game's atmosphere is so dark and creepy that even your flashlight is judging you, and checkpoints are as rare as a friendly alien. By the end, you're not just sweating from panic, you're sweating from existential dread, wondering why the heck you decided to become a space adventurer in the first place. And there you have it. 25 games that will break your fingers, crush your soul, and make you question why you even play video games. If you survived even half of these, congratulations, you're officially built different. Now go grab some ice cream, hug your controller, and maybe, just maybe, try not to cry again.